welcome into yet another edition of Talon Talks on this February 3rd. It's not March yet, Richard Miller, but it is February and conference play in full swing on the hardwood. That's why we're excited to welcome in our first guest on this fine Tuesday, Mason Lee, redshirt sophomore for the UNF men's basketball team, winners of 3 of their last 6. Mason, thanks so much for hanging out with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Let's start first things first. I know it was a disappointing outcome, losing both games at home last week, but certainly this is a team that has found its footing over the last 2-3 weeks and starting to identify, hey, this is where we can play at our best.
Exactly. I feel like we showed it in the first half, especially in the Lipscomb game, holding them at 36 points. We just weren't able to finish. We had 7 stops total, and they shot 80%, which when that happens, it's kind of almost impossible to win. So I feel like we can just string together 2 halves. I mean, we're a super dangerous team, especially going in.
You've been a lot of fun to watch recently. I feel like you've kept growing and growing. You come off the career double-double, 17 and 11, but the offensive glass really stood out to me. A season high this year of 4 offensive rebounds in a single game. What was working well for you in the last outing Saturday?
I was just trying to make the hustle plays. I know we have KJ and Cam. They can score the ball with ease whenever they want to. So I'm just trying to do anything I can to get them more shots and get our offense just more shots in general.
UNF falling on Thursday night, 84-77 to Stetson, 194 to Lipscomb on Saturday. But as you alluded to, Mason, those were 2 games where you guys quickly identified, hey, this is where we need to improve. And so what's been the conversation now a couple days removed as you get ready for a 4-game road swing? Actually, wait, hold on a second. Yeah, it's a 3-game road, 4-game. Jacksonville is hard. Trying to do my math here. 4-game road swing because, of course, you guys will be culminating that road trip with a trip across town to Jake.
I think just being able to put a full 40 together. I don't think we've had a complete game this season, and we've been very good in one half. I feel like this first half we've been particularly well in, and I feel like we can just put a full 40 minutes together. It will definitely help us down the stretch of game.
We talk so much about Cam and KJ, but I think another aspect of this North Florida team is Mason Lee and Dalton Gaiman. I think y'all are a 1-2 punch. Physically, you bring it every single game. What's your relationship like with him on and off the floor?
We go at it every single practice. He's obviously on the opposite team as me in practice, so every single time we compete, and we make each other better. I mean, he's always going to the offensive glass, as you guys can see. He had a double-double in the other game, and I feel like me and him just compete so well in practice and kind of just make each other better and build our strength.
6-year senior player who you guys celebrate all the time. His wins in the margins, those hustle stats that maybe not everyone's talking about, especially offensive rebounding, especially big for Dalton in that overtime win against Bellarmine and then the other dramatic win last week against Eastern Kentucky. To that end, though, Mason, who's another player that we're not talking about nearly enough that's really at the heart of this UNF men's basketball team?
BJ Plummer, he's definitely, I know he's been mentioned multiple times as like the X factor, but he's that guy that if he, when he gets it going, our team's just so much better. He's that guy that can affect so much with his length and his ability to score the ball whenever he wants. So whenever he's going, I think that's what.
What was your off season like? Because you took such a, I feel like, significant leap from last year to this season. What was that off season like? Your weekly workouts, etc.
I had a similar schedule or summer schedule the one before, but this summer it was more mental for me. I feel like I had the physical needs. Last year I didn't play obviously because I just didn't make the cut rather.
Rotation, rotation.
And I feel like just more working on mental, just moving on, like Coach Ken always says, just 10 seconds and let it go. I feel like I was so worried about the outcome of stuff last year, and this year I'm kind of playing, and Coach Ken's and stuff.
All right, let's hang on that then for a second with Mason Lee, redshirt sophomore for the UNF men's basketball team. Mason, what has Coach Kennan, obviously he was here since you arrived on campus, and of course a Jacksonville native. So you've been around Coach Kennan for almost half your life, I would think, at this point in time, given that Coach Driscoll arrived 17 years ago. What has he, though, as the head coach, brought to this?
Brought a great energy every day in practice, no matter if we're winning. We had that long stretch where we hadn't won a single D1 game, but every single day he was consistent. He's the same every single time. He's uplifting. He's always trying to figure out a way that we can get an edge and get better. And I really appreciate that he comes to practice every day with the same attitude, trying to get better, and it's definitely helped us.
Mia, we've talked about the locker room on and off throughout this season on Talon Talk. Mason, what's your favorite aspect of the new locker room?
I like that we have like that when you kind of walk back, we have that. Obviously, the players have their own little room. That's definitely cool to have our own little separate thing from the entrance. So definitely a bit.
I want to go back to the coaching staff only because I want to get a little thought from someone who grew up around this program, Mason Lee, being a Jacksonville guy, graduating from Providence. Carter Hendrickson was starring on the hardwood for UNF while you were in high school. David, of course, was part of this UNF team, left, has come back. Two of those younger assistants. I've had multiple people tell me they think that David is going to be a Division I head coach in the next 10 to 15 years. You tell me, those two young guys, what have they brought to a staff that, while yes, many of the same faces have been here for over a decade now, those two guys maybe were in roles?
Yeah, I think it's great to have them. They obviously were in the program before, and now they're coming back. And Carter, who obviously Hall of Fame player, he's second most UNF history scoring. I feel like he just brings such a knowledge to the game that you don't have when. I'm not saying that you're just a coach. Like maybe you don't have the same as when you're playing. And he definitely brings that perspective, and it's super cool to just kind of get to learn under him and listen to all the stuff he has to say.
Mason, we talked about it briefly before tipping off Saturday, but you watched a little bit of the Friday Providence win against Impact Christian. How enjoyable was that for you?
It was definitely cool to see them play at UNF. I wish I had that opportunity to play at UNF. But yeah, it was cool. Taylor Thompson, he's on our team, and he's Impact, so I had some jokes over him after he got that one.
Did you have any like friendly rivalry? Like I don't want to say betting because we don't do that NCAA. We don't do that here on Talent Talks or at UNF. But friendly little jersey swap or wager or anything like that.
I tried to get him to say, I was like, if Providence wins, you got to wear. I had one of my old jerseys. I was like, he got to wear it, but we never ended up making a deal. I think he was scared of it.
He knew what was coming down the pipeline. Come on now.
Well, Mia talked about coaching, great coaching, of course, at Providence for the Stallions. Coach Martin, what was it like learning under him while you were over there?
It was definitely an experience. He's a great coach. I learned a lot just on the basketball IQ standpoint. He was definitely one of the coaches that you're not built for it. He's gonna definitely tear you down in the sense like he's a hard coach and he wants the best for you, but some people just can't take that. And I think he taught me a lot about myself and about
Providence Impact Christian at UNF Arena on Friday. The Ospreys were back in the arena on Saturday, and now you guys hit the road. West Georgia, Queens this upcoming week. Those are two teams that, well, certainly West Georgia, I think, has surprised a lot of folks. Queens, maybe not so much, just because I think the expectation that was there for Grant Leonard, and certainly a team that's been on the rise. You've already played both of them once before. Give us a scouting report from that last time that you faced them, but that game, both of those games coming at home a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I think both of those games, kind of going back to the full 40. I think we defended well at parts of the game against West Georgia. We just didn't put together a full 40. And obviously, they're a physical team, so we just got to pack it in and just out-physical them. And Queens, they're a little bit more, they shoot the ball a little bit better, I feel like, than West Georgia. But just kind of knowing the personnel and trusting the scouting report Coach P's going to give us. And, yeah, just kind of executing.
I do need a lowdown real quick. I know he's got to go get taped up and practice shortly, but you're always wearing the wireless headphones when you're warming up. I know KJ loves country music. Sometimes
I don't know.
pop.
KJ told me last week that he doesn't listen to anything on the plane or in the bus ride, and I was like, is there something you want
Really?
to tell us, KJ? Like,
He's just staring straight ahead.
That's what he said in class
Wow.
on Friday.
Interesting.
And I was just like, dog, like, really? So,
But you're out there on the court. You've got the wireless headphones on. What's the music selection?
I'm a big NBA YoungBoy fan. I know you can ask probably all my team. That's usually the only thing I like. But I love music in general. I love listening to country, but usually before games, it's just straight.
the men's basketball team heads on the road for their next four. Mason Lee has started 22 of 23 games for the Ospreys this season, averaging 7.4 points and 5.1 rebounds. Know that rebounding margin going to be especially important. West Georgia on deck on the road on Thursday. We appreciate you hanging out with us here on Talent Talk, Mason. Anything else we need to plug? Men's basketball? Anybody who's out there? I'm sure like Trey Katie wants to shout out. That's what I'm getting at here. Anybody else? Anything you want to shout out? Let the folks know when you guys will be back at UNF Arena.
We have a 4-game road stretch, and then we come back. So we're just looking to handle this business on the road, and then I can continue it from there.
And from there, they will indeed have 2 games. One game at home against Austin Peay. That's February 19th at Stetson down in DeLand, back at UNF Arena for the final 2 home contests of the regular season. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, Mason, and best of luck this week.
Thank you for having me.
When we return, Athletic Director Nick Morrow, or should I say the Vice President of Intercollegiate Athletics, is going to join us here on Talent Talks. Plus, we run through softball starting up this week. The ASUN preseason favorites. You're going to hear from head coach Jeff Conrad as well, straight ahead on Talent Talks.
Hi, I'm Joel Donovan. My brother Kyle and I, we are co-owners and operators here at Donovan Heat and Air and Electric, and my dad started the business in 1987 to provide the greater Jacksonville area with a great customer service experience. 3 decades later, we're still doing the same thing. I love the Jacksonville area, I love the community, I love raising my family here. That's my name on the side of the building, and it's really important for our family to run this company the way it should be ran. It's something to be proud of.
If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit. When you hear that, you think Bono's Pit Barbecue, a staple in Northeast Florida now for 75 years. A place that feels like home with friendly service, a meeting place for friends, family, or business occasions. On the menu, the corn nuggets are a favorite in our house, but there's something for everyone. Sandwiches, platters, salads, sides, desserts, and family feasts. You see Bono's all over the place in Northeast Florida. You know, there are almost 20 locations in the Jacksonville area now, so stop on by, sit down, and dine in with Bono's. You can also take it to go. There are drive-thrus in many of the locations, and they have delivery options too. Just download the Bono's app to make things easy. I signed up for the loyalty program, and you can too, to get special offers. If Jacksonville is home, few things feel more Jacksonville than Bono's Pit Barbecue. Celebrate 75 years and many more to come. Bono's Pit Barbecue. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
We're CSI companies. We partner with organizations nationwide to help employers like you find your dream team. You're looking to hire the best of the best, and we've got you covered, start to finish. Whether you're hiring for projects or everyday operations, we provide the talent, strategic solutions, and innovative technologies that keep your business ahead of the competition. This is your workforce, reimagined. This is CSI Companies.
Baker Sports. It's a hometown business filled with hometown people trying to make you feel right at home.
Chris Conley, Jacksonville University. Walker Wright, class of 2018, West Nassau High School.
Michael Young, Fletcher High School.
Baker Sports started in a grassroots way and now outfits much of the Southeast.
Samuel Coffrin, Paxton School for Advanced Studies.
High school sports, travel sports, youth sports of all kinds. They are a one-stop shop carrying Nike, Adidas, Under Armour brands, and more.
Vincent Caldes, Oak Leaf High School.
Tony Mazzio, Stanwood High School, class of 2002.
Whether it's sports teams on the field or it's your team in the workplace, like our Action Sports Shacks team, and community events like the Dream 18 Golf Tournament, and many others.
Cole Tilley, Hilliard High School.
Reagan Webb, Eagles View Academy.
Look good, feel good, play good with Baker Sports. Custom sports apparel since 1997. Shop with the hometown team at bakersport.com.
It's the most wonderful time of the year in the ASUN Conference and the University of North Florida. Crossover season has arrived. Here to break it all down on Talent Talks is the Vice President of Intercollegiate Athletics at UNF, Nick Morrow. Nick, the softball team voted the ASUN preseason favorites after an impressive showing in the NCAA tournament 1 season ago. Their season gets started Thursday at 4 p.m. We've got a new baseball field, so much to get to. But first and foremost, how are you? Welcome back to the studio.
Thank you. No, always good to be at Talent Talk, right? And I don't know, is it me or Bobby who's had more appearances? I don't know. Bobby might have me right
Yeah,
now.
Bobby's got you. I think it's maybe 4-3.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So I think he's got you by 1.
All right, so there we go. We're going to have you come back next week
That's
and then
right.
maybe break that tie if we don't have Bobby on, since they've got that 4-game road swing coming up. But, hey, where do you want to start? Softball, calendar-wise, is first on the docket. But I know I drove on campus here to the Action Sports Jack studios and saw that beautiful baseball field that I know Irv Lewis, Corey Levine, and that entire team have truly made a labor of love here these last few weeks.
Yeah, it is crossover season, which is can be scary for our staff because of how much hours they'll spend there. I mean, we got softball this week, baseball starts next week, beach the next week, and we literally have every single team competing at that point because even our spring sports are full go now with their spring training, and they've got competition coming up for their spring season. So everybody's going. So it's an exciting time of year because there's so much happening on campus, but it's also important that our staff's ready to go, and they are. They're veterans at this, and then of course we're going to throw some facility projects into a normal busy crossover. Oh, and we're going to throw in the high school basketball championships into a crossover season, which we've never done before too. And so it's going to reach a whole new level of busy on campus, but it's all exciting, great stuff, and so we're ready for it. And starting, softball's next Thursday against Auburn, which is going to be pretty neat. So I hope to see a lot of people there.
And this team is, I think, maybe better than last year, at least in talking to Jeff Conrad. What do you think? What is your excitement about this year's team after all of those wins last year and just a historic season?
Yeah, last year's season will be one that kind of will be a core memory in my career. It's the first one we ever had, and just what a great team and what they were able to accomplish, and not just getting to the tournament, which a lot of people have been like, that's great in itself, but no, they actually winning games and made it real interesting.
One win away from making it to the second weekend of the tournament.
So that's really cool. And then to reload with the top 10 transfer portal recruiting class, and to be the heavy preseason number one. What's interesting about that is, we're preseason number one as a team, but we had not a single person on the preseason All-ASUN team. So I think that kind of goes to show you that how good our team is in terms of just depth, that we could not have anybody on that list, but then still be picked to win the whole thing pretty convincingly. And so they're loaded, they're ready to go, they're dialed in. We got great veteran leadership, we got a lot of talent, we've got a great schedule that'll really challenge us and show where we're at. Top 10 mid-major program in the entire country right now. And so that's really exciting, and happy to, excited to see that first pitch and get going.
Man, this is what happens when you hire people in the state of Iowa. Sorry, I had to throw it out there. Did you know the story that assistant coach, pitching coach, Amber Pfizer, my first year working professionally as a sports reporter in Iowa, I covered Amber's state championship, Benton Community High School, their state championship.
I did not know that. Yeah. Another fun fact for Mia.
Yes, when she was the state player of the year. We argued. And this was at a day and age, and now I'm, of course, going down my Iowa rabbit hole, but it bears merit. Kristen Wirfs, Tyler Linderbaum, all in that same recruiting class, same high school group around the same time, living within 25 miles of each other. And you can make the argument back in 2016 that Amber Pfizer, now the pitching coach for UNF, was the best pound-for-pound athlete of the whole bunch of them, which is insane because those other two guys now play in the National Football League.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's a tribute to what Jeff and the entire staff have been able to do, though, and especially in the transfer portal day and age. And I think this is also, as we look ahead to this season that kicks off this week with 5 games at the UNF softball complex between Friday and Sunday, Nick, this is a team that has looked at the portal but also looked at high school recruiting and found a way to blend the two. And that is something I think across all sports, especially at the mid-major level, so many teams and coaching staffs are trying to do, and Jeff's doing it as good as anybody.
Yeah, you're right. It's different. Like, you got to change your approach to recruiting, and you can't forget the high schoolers. And honestly, for us, we can now, more often than not, go after a higher level high school recruit. Because if you're a Power 4, you're recruiting that mid-major all-conference team first. You're going to pluck that, and then you're going to fill with some high schoolers, and your high schoolers are probably going to be your no-brainer 5-stars that you're going to bring in before you're going to actually keep going down that list. So that's, point is that opens up some high school athletes for us to go after, and we recruit a higher-level high school athlete as a result. But at the same time, when you look at your roster at the end of a season, natural attrition, graduation, whatever it is, what holes do you have? And that's usually where you're going to go to the portal for, to fill that immediate hole. And then you've got your high school athletes that you're going to continue to develop and hopefully turn into all conference players. And if their desire is to go and make some money at that next level, then then we're going to help them do that. Because it's always been our job and our goal is to make sure they reach their academic and athletic goals. Well, some people, their athletic goals might look a little different, and that might mean, hey, I want to get to that next level. Will you help me get there? And we can't be afraid to develop and embrace that. Now, at the end of the day, we're going to put together a great experience and make it super difficult for someone to want to leave our school and our institution, because we do put such a great experience together. We have the second lowest transfer rate in the entire conference last year. And we only had 26 total transfers, and half of those were basketball last year. And so we're really proud of that, and that's a number that, even women's soccer had a great year, has some talent on that team. We only had one person leave to go transfer somewhere else and wants to try that Power 4 level. And so, again, time and time again, we can show volleyball had a complete coaching transition. Not a single person went in the transfer portal.
Okay, I was
Not
curious
a single
that update
person.
there. Okay.
Yeah. And so, that's pretty amazing in itself. Not only you have the portal world, and we had talent on that team that could have gone on and gone somewhere else, but also at the same time, we had no coaches, and they still decided not to go anywhere. So again, I think time and time again, we can kind of point to different examples on why this is such a great place, quality of life, the great experience that we put together, and so we're hanging on to our athletes at a higher level than most.
Oh, that's phenomenal. I mean, you get to keep Kendall Newbold, who was tremendous last year. So fill us in. We've got baseball, Harmon Stadium. We saw everything going on this weekend, but still, walls need to be put up? I saw the team had practice yesterday at 4 p.m.
First full team practice yesterday. I was out there to watch them. They went and scrimmaged, and it was really cool to see. And we had a couple of donors out there, people that kind of been keeping an eye on what's going on and being able to experience that with them. And so we do netting is going up today. Padding should be starting tomorrow. That alone will set the whole place off. The field looks great. When we start adding the wall padding, especially with some of the character that we have in the wall, it's going to be really cool. The family fun zone turned out great down the left field line. Nice big turf area that the families are really going to be able to enjoy, and we're going to be able to do some cool stuff with some games or birthday parties and different things down that left field line. And then the right field, the premium seating in front of the nest, and we renovated the nest even more, including the restrooms. And those are going to be really nice as well. And we're actually selling those. Every week we're selling more of those pit seats. And so all that stuff's coming together. We'll be ready on opening day next Friday, 6 o'clock, Sacred Heart. We're going to honor those that contributed to the project. We certainly want to show our appreciation for what they did. And Derek Marinatis and our development team did a great job securing sponsorships and donors to make this a reality. Corey's been out there every single day, just making sure that thing is done well. And so I'm really appreciative of him and the work he put in. And just a lot of people have worked hard towards making this project happen, and it's so long overdue.
And people also forget, when did you tear up the previous Harmon Stadium? 1 month ago to the day?
Yeah, so that would have been, that's a good question. I want to say it was sometime in December.
Yeah.
And I don't remember exact date. I should know that, but it's quick. It's a
quick
turnaround.
This is under 2 months
Yes.
that you are literally transforming this into a turf field.
Yeah. And that's been pretty cool to see. And we got a cool time-lapse video that'll be part of our release that we put out next week. It just, watching that and witnessing, because I haven't really watched it that closely before this, just to see everything that went in. And AstroTurf were tremendous partners in adjusting different things we had to do, especially with the bullpens. We had some maneuvering we had to do with those because we moved them outside of the outfield fence before it was on the field. Now they're outside, so there had to be some adjustments related to that. But that project was really cool to come see to life, and that was the original field from 1988, I want to say. And so that's a long time ago. And so that had to be replaced regardless whether we're going to go natural or artificial. And some of the baseball traditions aren't too happy that we switched to artificial, but we would have spent about the same amount switching to putting in new natural, because we would have had to redo all the drainage, irrigation, and plus the annual maintenance is a lot more. And
right.
And now we can engage with the community more often. Now the team can just walk out and play. Rather than prepping the field, make sure everything's good. Corey's got to keep them off for a day because he's got to fertilize it. All those things people don't think about. And then you talk to baseball people, and they're loving the turf. You see it more and more as you travel across the country in different colleges and pro sports. It's everywhere right now, and the technology has grown so much that it looks tremendous, and we're excited to get the season going there too as well.
Softball and baseball season tickets and single game flex plan tickets remain on sale. Before we segue to the other portion of crossover season, that being the winter sports that are in full swing, Nick, give us a primer of this baseball team from your perspective, the staff, the pitching staff, the roster that Coach Merck has been able to put together.
Yeah, he's got. I love that staff. Coach Merck is a tremendous head coach, and Brad Wilkerson's he's a legend in this area to begin with, and the credibility he brings walking on the field. Great coach. We brought in a new pitching coach this year, Parker, and he's nothing but great reviews from the student athletes so far on him as well. And then he's got some volunteers and other guys that just want to be a part of the program, which is really cool. People that have pro experience, have been around the program. So we have a player development guy, another volunteer coach. We got stats guys, you got manager. There's a lot of people as part of this program now, which is great. I mean, they want to be around it. They can feel the excitement. Our team looks different. It's a lot of new guys. I'm still getting to know a lot of them. And once the lights turn on, we'll see who steps up and plays well. But it's a different looking team. There's some big boys out there. Our team looks a lot larger and stronger, and excited to see them get after it, because that's one of those sports we have not won a conference championship tournament anyways and gone to the NCAAs. We won a regular season back, I think, 2014, 2015, one of those years, and but that's it. We haven't won a conference tournament. We haven't been to the NCAA regionals, and we need to get there. And this team looks like we're trending that way very quickly, and so if we can couple winning with the facility improvements we do, I truly believe that sport and this community will absolutely take off. We have more social media followers on baseball accounts than we do our general athletics account.
Really?
And it's always been there's a lot of excitement there. A lot of people are ready just to really latch on to this and whole thing take off. And so we're trending there very quickly. And ERA signed a top 10 high school recruiting class for next year. Or top 50 recruiting class for next year, which is great. And you couple that with the team he's got going on now, and you sprinkle in some transfers, and then, again, this team is primed to take off from here.
Well, I'm just thinking baseball, but how much fun it has been with basketball. I mean, we saw it the 4-game homestand, Mia, the 2-game winners for Cam Oriole. But I also just always look up and see everybody having a great time in the suite. Is that usually where you're perched up there, meeting and greeting everybody?
I don't stop moving. If it's Where's Waldo for me, where I'm moving around that arena, and I'll start out in the suite and just obviously engage with some of our donors and fans and stuff. But then maybe there's an on-court presentation, or sometimes I got to kind of sneak away because I actually want to watch what's going on. And a lot of people come up and talk and want to have conversations, and I can't focus what's going on too. So by the second half, or at least the last half of the second half, you'll find me close to the bench in the lower bleacher, really dialed in on how the game's going. And these 4 games were super entertaining.
Truly.
People got their money's worth. That overtime game, I had people email me, thanking me for such a great game. I was like, I didn't do anything. And I agree, though. It was a lot of fun and very entertaining. And but it's a fun brand of basketball to watch. And I know we haven't been on the right side of half those games, at least in this 4-game stretch. We haven't been on the right side of it, but it's been very entertaining. Our fans are enjoying it. And hopefully more of those wins come as a result.
Speaking of entertaining finishes, the women's basketball team returns home to UNF Arena Thursday. They are 8-13 overall, Nick. And I think it's fair to say, 4 or 5 of those 8 wins have come at the buzzer or in the final 30 some odd seconds of play. And this is a young roster that Erica Lambert has put together. A winner last week at all but the buzzer, another Alanya Walden buzzer beater, that one with 10 seconds to go against Austin P. Then the second in the standings, Austin P. Disappointing loss to Lipscomb on Saturday, but they'll return home to face Stetson on Thursday. And again, another young team that you see the growing pains, and you got to live with some of that growing pains, but you're starting to see the returns, especially from that freshman class.
Yeah, they certainly took a nice step from last year, and that Austin P win might have been the biggest win under Erica's tenure. That was a big-time win on the road to beat a team that far up on the standings. And so, yeah, you could tell they're figuring out some things, and we might take a step back and 2 steps forward, but at least we're headed in the right direction. Which is good, and knock on wood, they're healthy right now too, for the most part. And in women's basketball, that's a big deal. Talking to just some other ADs and coaches, they're pretty beat up right now.
South Carolina now down 2 players, and they're LSU coming up. It's not great.
Yeah, it's that's a key to this is staying healthy and available to play, and so they're ready. They're ready for a nice 4-game. Because not only were they on the road for the past 4 games, but we kept going into this winter storm snow situation, and things would get disrupted from a travel standpoint. So you're trying to game prep, but you're also trying to figure out how I'm going to get home, and then to be away from home for that long. And so it'll be really nice. I know they are very relieved to be at home for a minute, and so hopefully, we can make some noise with this home stand, and because the conference tournament's coming quick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are we, a month out?
1 month officially. The ASUN posted today.
Yeah.
1 month officially out from March 3rd.
Unbelievable, huh? March Madness is a month away, and so now's the time. Like, okay, we're in February. Who are we going to be, and how much noise can we make in that tournament? And because it really comes down to those 4 days in March, and so how are we preparing for those 4 days?
And we're going to have some of those over at the UNF Arena. We'll be broadcasting breaking news, I guess, maybe.
Oh, yeah, maybe we should mention that. So Nick alluded to the FHSAA state championships coming to UNF Arena, but additionally, because this ASUN tournament will be hosted, both the men's and the women's tournaments, in Jacksonville entirely. Previous years, games were hosted at the higher seed, and games were just played in home gyms. The decision was made with the move of the ASUN headquarters to Jacksonville that we will have all of the games in Jacksonville. However, because all 12 teams make the tournament, we'll have an excess number of games, and so UNF Arena as well as Swisher Gymnasium could be hosting some first-round games. So, Nick, give us a primer of that last week of February, that first week of March, just how many basketball games are going to be played at UNF Arena, because don't forget, we also have the Rumble on the final day of February, February 28th on the men's side.
Yeah, I do need to add up how many total games we're looking at. That would be a good number to have as we're going around talking about this, because we host our home game on February 26th. High school starts the next day. If I'm not mistaken, it's on that 27th. We have the Rumble, and then nonstop till March 14th. There's basketball in UNF Arena. Like literally from the 26th all the way through the 14th, nonstop. And it's not just one game a day. Like we're talking up 4+ games a day a lot of times. And so it'll be really cool and exciting on campus. We had VP meeting this morning with the president, and I kind of just reminded everyone what's coming. And there's a chance we're going to receive complaints about parking and traffic and other stuff, but we need to be ready for it, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing that we have that many people on campus, and we got to take advantage of that, and the number of high school students that will be here, and from an admission standpoint, from a UNF exposure standpoint, because every time somebody comes on campus, they're just amazed at how beautiful campus is and how with a nice institution and just everything we got going on there. They're just always blown away. And so we need to be ready and take advantage of that, and because there's a lot of people that will be coming to campus. So it's a great opportunity to show off all the great things that UNF has.
And I've enjoyed so much about the UNF athletic department is a lot of the social content that's been coming out. Jackson, Chase, and their team putting together wonderful videos. I know they're going to have a softball hype video coming out very soon as well. But what is that like? Because I feel like so many people that we get here at UNF, you start making great videos. Before you know it, you're in the pros.
Yeah, we have produced a few people that have gone on to do big things.
Is that a Noah Thomas shout out? Continue, Nick.
No, it's literally everybody.
Jeremiah's the one original.
Jeremiah.
Original on that. And
Jonathan Harkey.
Jonathan Harkey, yeah, that's right. He was he
was the original.
Creative wasn't even really, obviously it's a thing, but it was on a very low scale. And then Jonathan Harkey came in and he started doing a few things. We're like, hey, really good content. This is going to capture a little bit more attention than your average post. And then we started to make that a position, and then we started growing and growing and going. And then Nate came in, and we had a good talk about how to build out a creative team, and he has some thoughts. And before you know it, we got a full creative team with multiple full-time positions, multiple GAs. But that's another great way to get exposure. Obviously, that's where we're at right now. Everyone wants to hop on the phone and get that quick hit, and they realize that and how to utilize that. We invested in a social media analytics tool called Sprout, and that was another Nate initiative on that, and to be able to really use that to say, okay, how do we stack up against our competition? Just the conference, but regional. What are people doing well? How can we improve our numbers? We use those analytics to make decisions on how we're going to use creative. And so it's very strategic. It's not just, hey, throw out some video and keep throwing stuff up. There's thought process behind we're doing it. But I love the stuff they do. I told Jackson the other day, we started doing this under the last timeout in the basketball game, the last media timeout. He created a video just to try and hype up the team a little bit more. And I was mid-conversation with somebody. I just stopped and stared at the video that he put together on the video board, 'cause it was just really impressive. And I love that stuff. I love that atmosphere. I like getting hyped up too. And so it's they've done a tremendous job, and we're going to keep investing in that creative. And if we lose somebody to the next ranks, that's a good thing for us. Just like losing Jamie Davis to Grand Canyon, he doubles the salary, gets a lot more resources, good for him. And if that's the way we're losing people, I'll take that all day long. I'd rather lose them that way than another way.
Well, it means you're doing something right as the athletic director and the hiring manager.
And that means it makes it easier for us to recruit the next person too.
That too.
Because they're going to realize, hey, this is the place you really could thrive and be successful. And then if you want to make a move, you could. But hopefully we'll keep them more times than lose them. But if we lose them because they got a bigger aspiration, just like somebody coming in and then transferring to a big power four and making big NIL, it's the same kind of concept. Like, if we put a really good program together that's helping develop people and helping them achieve their goals, whatever that looks like, and we're doing our job.
A couple of quick hits before we get you out of here, Nick. Women's tennis off to a 3-0 start. Men's tennis 3-3, including 2-0 at home. The indoor track and field team is off to a strong start with multiple program records already broken. And men's and women's golf, their season has already begun. Men's golf is currently at day 2 of the Seabest Invitational here at Atlantic Beach Country Club locally. So give us a quick thought on a couple of those teams, especially those that are really beginning play in the spring sports season.
Yeah, I told you, everybody's playing. Everybody's doing something.
Truly.
It's amazing. And women's tennis off to a great start. That FAU win was down with 2 starters down too, and they were a top 25 program last year, FAU. So that's a really big win. And indoor track is just blowing programs like 15-year records out of the water, and so that's a fun group to watch, because we are a more diverse track program than ever before in terms of the number of events that we're competing in. So that's going to be really cool to follow them through indoors and then even into outdoors. And so everybody's doing well. We're off and running, and everyone has a chance to win a championship in the spring. And that's really cool. I mean, they all have legit champion or opportunities and chances to win a championship, and so be fun to support them, and we'll be living off caffeine, Dunkin', Celsius, whatever you're into.
I saw a Dunkin' truck on campus today.
I did see that too.
Yeah,
I didn't make my way over yet.
They got the protein shake thing going on. Yeah, so that's apparently all the kids. I put protein in my respect. See, we got a Dunkin' and a Starbucks reference, and sponsor us. Nick, we appreciate you hanging out with us. You're coming for Bobby's record number of appearances on Talon Talk in our first season here on Action Sports Jax. When we return, we welcome in another friend of the program, reoccurring character, the head softball coach at the University of North Florida, Jeff Conrad, catches up with Brent Martineau coming up next here on Talon Talk.
Hi, I'm Joel Donovan. My brother Kyle and I, we are co-owners and operators here at Donovan Heat and Air Electric, and my dad started the business in 1987 to provide the greater Jacksonville area with a great customer service experience. 3 decades later, we're still doing the same thing. I love the Jacksonville area, I love the community, I love raising my family here. That's my name on the side of the building, and it's really important for our family to run this company the way it should be ran. It's something to be proud of.
When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models, or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway, or shop online at nimnickbuickgmc.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnick, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnick Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnick has a treating you right guarantee, courtesy, respect, fairness. The most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnick. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnick. GMC. We are professional grade.
We're CSI companies. We partner with organizations nationwide to help employers like you find your dream team. You're looking to hire the best of the best, and we've got you covered, start to finish. Whether you're hiring for projects or everyday operations, we provide the talent, strategic solutions, and innovative technologies that keep your business ahead of the competition. This is your workforce reimagined. This is CSI Companies.
We've been telling you about the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network for over a year now. How to find it, what to see. Simply put, it's TV online. Local sports content all day, every day, just like this.
Did you always want to make history? Like, think that big, or just say, hey, I want to play in the NFL?
I always say I wanted to play in the NFL.
Cuts it back to her left side, takes a shot, and into the back of the net.
Oh, what a pass.
Oh, my goodness.
What a pass.
And they have been. We've been talking, we've been articulating.
I did have a sense that they wanted to be bold, that they wanted to make a splash.
It's content you won't find on TV. Find it on actionsportsjax.com and just sit back and watch local sports all day on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
One more segment to go on this week's edition of Talon Talks. All things UNF Athletics here on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Mia O'Brien, Richard Miller, Brent Martineau on assignment. But before he headed out, he caught up with Jeff Conrad, the head coach of the number 8 ranked team in Softball America's mid-major power rankings, UNF softball team.
Hey, we figured we'd come on over to the campus of the University of North Florida, talk a little softball. I mean, I'm all bundled up. It's really not that bad out, but you'll get the better part of the week for the opener, Jeff Conrad.
Yeah, it's not as bad. It was pretty rough last week. I mean, we were bundled up, and I know I saw some snow flurries kicking around this weekend, and we're just it's crazy to think that opening day in Florida is a week away, and that's what we're dealing with. But yeah, we'll, whatever it takes, we're just ready to play at this point.
Well, and you'll play Auburn to start things.
Yep.
I'm going to ask you a lot about this team that you have, but the schedule, how do you like that first? Because that's one of the things you go about in the offseason.
Yeah, I mean, we're really happy with the schedule we were able to put together. I mean, there's a lot of challenges in today's day and age of scheduling with, all the changes that are going on in college athletics, and really happy with what we were able to do. Have Florida twice, have Auburn coming here on opening night, which was something we were able to do last year for the first time going to Gainesville, and now to have an SEC coming here on opening night, we think is kind of a big deal. We'll go to Tallahassee, have Marshall coming here is another really good mid-major program. And then we're going out to Arizona to play a really good Grand Canyon team. So we don't shy away from playing people. We think that's one of the attractive things that people have to want to come here and play. And this year will be no different. It'll be a very good ASUN, again this year. So it'll do a really good job of getting us prepared for that, we think.
I'm glad you mentioned Grand Canyon, because that's a team that I think of, and I'm like, wow, that's like a program. I think they were D2 and then got into D1, and they've really ramped things up across all their athletic programs. And I think about something that UNF is and is trying to become, especially in the softball side. I mean, is that a good kind of comp for you guys?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, and for us, it's, the big challenge this year is, okay, now we've done it, now we got to maintain it. Like in years past, we've had those ups and downs where, we appear and then we kind of disappear a little bit for a couple years. But, I think being able to maintain on a year-to-year basis like they've done, I think Liberty's another great example. Even UCF at one point was a team that was in, the ASUN. That's obviously grown into a Power 4, but was able to really kind of go, gain a lot of momentum and then continuously get into the postseason. And I think those are all, great examples of programs that we're trying to become and find that consistency.
Yeah, and there are a lot of factors in that, but you feel like you can do it here. Yeah, you just signed a new contract. You're obviously happy here. It's a great facility. It's only going to get even better, and you got the momentum. I mean, you that's a realistic thing that you, even in today's day and age, that you think you can do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've, obviously you get a great education here. Our location is great. The beaches here and everything. We're able to go into California, and kids that want to get away but experience something very similar to what they're, used to. It's been a great thing for us. So we think there's absolutely everything that we can do, and everything we need is here to build a program that can consistently be in the top 25, be in the conversations as one of the better mid-major programs, be a regular team in the NCAA tournament. And going out, and we grabbed a top 10 national recruiting class out of the portal, and I think, like you said, the momentum's key. Taking advantage of that and continue to build off of it.
Well, let's stay on that part. Top 10 portal class, and you just told me before we started, I mean, you've got the big logos right there with UNF.
Yeah.
I mean, how'd you do it, I guess? Because you're not sitting here writing checks.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's the big thing, you know, like when you look at a lot of those schools that are in the top 10, they have the ability to do that.
Yeah.
You know, I think the #1 transfer portal class was Texas Tech, and I mean, we're not anywhere close to them in terms of writing checks.
Not sure anybody is.
Yeah, but you know, it's Florida State, it's Oregon, it's all those logos that you recognize, and then you know, there's UNF at number 10. You know, and for us, it was just, you know, we realized obviously we had a very good year last year, and you know, for us, we didn't really spend a whole lot of time, you know, just basking in the glory, so to speak. It was kind of, you know, even as soon as the season ended at South Carolina, the portal opened and we were working the whole bus ride home, you know, because the grand plan wasn't being this team that got to this point once and then just disappears. You know, it was being a team that can be there on a regular basis year in and year out. In order to do that, you know, my philosophy was just, you know, once we retire from coaching, we'll take some time to think back of all these great things we did. But if we're focusing on that, it's taking away from the time to do the job that we still have to do. So we just got to work on it, and you know, honestly, like getting to the point where we were, it opens up a whole nother layer of player. You know, I mean, we would be constantly hitting refresh on the portal, looking at who's in there, emailing 100 kids, and all of a sudden we get on the bus at South Carolina and we're in a regional final, and our inbox is full with these kids reaching out to us. So, you know, we even, you know, unfortunately, there's only so much you can do. I mean, we even had to turn away some kids that had started games in the College World Series just because we didn't have room, you know, so. Our recruiting profile drastically changed, you know, and it's a good problem to have, but obviously, you know, like we're pretty relentless on the, you know, recruiting trail. We work pretty hard at it, and find kids that are a really good fit for our program, that believe in what we want to do, and, you know, see the vision and are willing to go out and kind of compete for it.
When you have a lot of options, that means you got to make the right decisions,
Yeah.
And you feel like you did that, obviously. But give us a little bit of that profile. Like, what are you looking for? Obviously a good player, but there's more to it.
Well, we really like kids that like to compete. I mean, everything that we do has a component of competition to it. So finding kids that, you know, understand that everything we do on a daily basis is going to have a competition level to it. You know, so kids that are willing to embrace that and be a part of that culture. I think the culture piece is the other big part of it. You know, kids that fit in. You know, I think it was Nick Saban that said kids go into the portal for a reason. You better make sure you're pulling them out of the portal for the right reasons. So we do our homework on that, make sure they're going to fit. You know, in our program, we've had really good luck. The portal's been very good to us. You know, so those are some of the key components that we really look for. I mean, we love kids that love to compete, love to get after it. We schedule really hard, so kids that, you know, are willing to embrace that and the challenges that come with it. And kids just love softball, you know, just love to be out here on a daily basis competing and being all about the game.
Yeah, that's a grind, and you got to do that. I think a lot of people think UNF was Allison Benning last year, and she was unbelievable, by the way, and you're not going to probably get another Allison Benning. But you guys were more than that, I think, if you really knew it. And you think you can be even more than that this year, right? Give some folks that think it was just, hey, this two-way player that was a top 100 player. I mean, you don't get that at UNF very often. Quite frankly, you might never again in your coaching time.
Yeah.
But you can still be really good without Allison Benning.
Yeah, and I think Allison will be the first one to tell you this wasn't the Allison Benning show. You know, I mean, she was obviously very talented, generational player, you know, coming out of high school prior to Oregon, top 10 recruit in the country. You know, just impacts the game in so many ways, a pitcher, a hitter. You know, but when you have a kid like that, and it's just her, then teams can kind of navigate their way around, you know. So even last year, we knew we had to build a team around her. You know, we brought in some really key components. Lulu Brock, you know, Chloe Culp had a big year hitting behind Benny. You know, some kids like that really, you know, kind of allowed Benny to be herself. You know, but this year when I look at this group that we were able to bring in, I mean, we've got the one great thing I think about getting to where we did in the season is you find where all your shortcomings are. You know, we knew we had to lengthen our lineup. I thought that was something that really stood out in the regional at South Carolina. You know, I think at one point, 7 through 9 was something like 0 for 30 in the regional, you know, so we knew, like, to compete and realistically have a chance to get to a super regional, we had to lengthen our group out, and that's something we really focused on doing. And Fortunately, the kids that we kind of targeted were very open to UNF and, were really attracted to the success that we had and the way our program's built and the way we run it. So we really were able to bring in some kids because realistically, you're not going to replace Allison Benning with one kid. It's going to take, obviously a pitcher, some hitters, things like that. And, we really brought in a bunch of hitters that have really created great length in our lineup. I've added the power component that Benny brought. Kids that hit for high average. I think we've got 3 kids in our lineup that'll steal 35 bases.
Wow. I was going to ask you that. Can you run?
Yeah, I mean, we're very balanced. Amber would tell you she's got to face our lineup on a daily basis, and it's a very difficult lineup to navigate. It can be in a lot of different ways. So, and then we've got a really good group of young pitchers, that are really excited about the opportunity to kind of fill in for Benny's innings and her victories in the circle and, things like that. So we feel really good about the group we have. But yeah, I mean, it's and Benny be the first one to tell you. I mean, she had a great support, throughout from her teammates and stuff like that. So we feel really good about our group.
Well, everybody knows her, and she's such a big part of what you guys have built here. How is she doing? Give us an update on her.
Good, yeah. We actually just saw her in the fall. She came back for our dinner on the Diamond. She's doing great. Same old Benny. Just, really happy, back in Minnesota now and, working with young kids, passing on all her experiences that she's learned. Coaching, giving lessons, doing a lot of that stuff. So it was great to see her. I know the kids, really enjoyed seeing her, and she really enjoyed being back. I mean, I think this is a place that she kind of really adopted as her second home and really felt comfortable. And, I think she's always someone that's going to have a big presence within our program.
All right, let's finish with this. You've done this. You guys have been very good in the portal, as you said. Mm-hmm. But I think with that, I would think it comes, you don't really know your team. Nobody really knows their team until they get out here anyway.
Yeah.
But do you have like a benchmark where, like by March 1st, you'll have a good feel of this team, or 4 games in? Like, do you have a feel for that when you know what you have, or you could tell us, at least if it's not even on record, how you feel like you're going to be the rest of the way?
Yeah, I mean, I feel really good about this group. I mean, we got to a point last week where, I mean, we really got this group focusing on a lot of the details and the small things, within the game that add up to a lot. And you could really sense with our group last week, we got to a point where you could see things starting to click and things starting to slow down. I think that's, a really good sign. I think, our pitching group, like I mentioned, is young. I think we're still figuring out what everybody's role is going to be within our group. But we feel really good about the group we have, that everybody's going to be a contributor. So I think just as the season goes on, sorting out those roles in the circle will be kind of a big thing for us to kind of sort through and figure out. But, the competition amongst our group has been great. We've got really good depth, really good balance. McCarthy and Langford in the outfield. I mean, even if you're not a softball fan, I would buy a ticket just to watch those two come out and track fly balls. Wow. I mean, it's really something to see, and it's probably the best defensive infield we've had since I've been here. Really athletic group. The lineup's long. It's got a lot of great length. It's got great versatility. We've got some kids that can really cause some havoc on the bases. So, I don't know, to answer your question.
Yeah.
I think it's, I think the big thing is trying that once we sort out what the roles are with our pitchers, I think we'll start to have a little bit better idea. But, right now we feel like we have a really good problem where we've got 5 options we feel really good about. And it's not one of those, hey, if you got 2 quarterbacks, do you really have one kind of thing?
It's a strength.
Yeah. We think it's a strength of this group. And, they learned a lot. That group is young, but they learned a lot from Allison. They learned about what she was able to do to be effective, and I think each and every one of those kids really embraced that role this off summer. Cam Ponick had a phenomenal summer playing in the FGCL, led her team to a championship. Our 2 freshmen got a lot of experience last year, and they come back better, have an understanding of where they're at. Kate Peters came in, is really the experienced kid on our staff, transferring in from Troy. And then, it's a good group. We feel really good about the arms that we have. So.
Do you feel like you're the team to beat in the ASUN?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, I really do. I mean, I think, I've only ever voted for our team as the best team in the league. well, this will be the second time now. I did last year. And I think this year, this team is equally, if not better, than last year's team. It's equally as talented.
Well, we'll look way down the road and get the ASUN championships here.
Yeah. I mean, that's something that we've really kind of, drawn in on. Last year, obviously having to go to Alabama and make that long trip, and the weather wasn't real cooperative, and it was kind of a long week there or whatever. But being able to play at home and defend the title on our field is something we think that's pretty important, and we feel pretty special to have the opportunity to do. So
happy softball season, Jeff Conrad.
Appreciate it.
Taking a few minutes here on Talon Talk.
Absolutely.
Reigning ASUN champion, NCAA tournament participant, and Richard Miller. Jeff Conrad's team has retooled, reloaded, top 10 recruiting class in the transfer portal. Excited to see what they roll out on the softball diamond this spring.
Two big things for me is Kaylin McCarthy, ASUN Defensive Player of the Year, center fielder, phenomenal. She'll have web gems. Then you add another outfielder in Hallie Langford. Same thing. She's had SportsCenter top 10s. And then what Jeff ended with is the fact that you're hosting here at the UNF softball complex, I think is huge. They did it 4 years ago, made it to the title game, but lost to Liberty. I think that's a huge advantage for the Ospreys this spring.
If the last name Langford rings a bell, yes, it's exactly why, if you're a baseball or a softball fan. The UNF softball team will not only host the ASUN tournament, we've got the UNF Arena hosting the high school state tournament. We've got the city of Jacksonville hosting the ASUN tournament. So many different tournaments going on in conference play here in the River City over the next 3 months, and we've got you covered at every angle here on Talon Talk on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Thanks for hanging out with us. For Richard Miller, for Jason Hamby, I am Mia O'Brien saying we catch you next Tuesday.